Welcome to Catholic News World.
Welcome to Catholic News World. Please subscribe to our channel. My name is Steph. Here are this week's breaking news headlines.
The government in Nicaragua has eliminated and confiscated a retirement fund for older Catholic priests, which it had already frozen a year ago. This comes among many acts against the Catholic Church in the Central American country. According to the Nicaraguan newspaper La Prensa, the Insurance Fund for Priests Association is one of the 1,500 non-governmental organizations whose legal status was canceled by the dictatorship on August 19th. The legal personhood of this association, the newspaper reported, had been approved by the National Assembly in 2005. According to a source quoted by La Prensa, with this act, Catholic priests will no longer have the benefits of the insurance fund they paid into annually. In addition, 2 more Catholic priests have been expelled from Nicaragua following their arrest last week, bringing the total of religious men and women expelled to 245 since 2018. Father Leonel Balmaceda and Father Denis Martinez, the 2 priests arrested in Nicaragua on August 10th and 11th, respectively, were expelled by the government and sent to Rome. Father Balmaceda, the parish priest of Jesus de Caridad Church in La Trinidad, is from the Diocese of Esteli. Father Martinez, a formatter at the Interdiocesan Seminary Nuestra Señora de Fatima in Managua, belongs to the clergy of the Diocese of Matagalpa. Both dioceses are administered by Bishop Rolando Alvarez, who was exiled to Rome since January. The bishop has released an update on the incorrupt foundress of the Benedictines of Mary, Queen of Apostles, who died in 2019 at age 95. Sister Wilhelmina was found incorrupt after 4 years underground. Morticians were surprised by the state of incorruption of this saintly Catholic nun. The local bishop ordered a medical examination and posted in the latest news. Bishop James Johnston of the Diocese of Kansas City St. Joseph wrote, "She was buried without any embalming or other treatment of her body in a simple, unsealed wooden casket." Following the exhumation of the body of Sister Wilhelmina on April 28, 2023, for the purpose of moving her body into the Abbey Church for interment, it was discovered that her body did not exhibit signs of decomposition that would normally have occurred after nearly 4 years of burial under the conditions described above. On May 24, 2023, as the Bishop of the Diocese of Kansas City St. Joseph, I commissioned a team of local medical experts to conduct an examination and evaluation of Sister Wilhelmina's body. The team was led by a doctor of pathology who was assisted by 2 other medical doctors and a former Missouri County coroner. In addition to examining and evaluating the mortal remains of the deceased, the team inspected the casket and interviews were conducted with eyewitnesses to events immediately preceding the burial in 2019 and the exhumation in April 2023. In the final report, the investigative team noted that the condition of Sister Wilhelmina's body during the examination was notable for a lack of any detected features of decomposition. The lining of her casket had completely deteriorated, but her habit and clothing showed no features of breakdown. The report also noted that the related history of Sister Wilhelmina's death and interment does not describe conditions that would be expected to protect against decomposition. The investigative team was only able to conduct a limited examination, but still concluded that the condition of her body is highly atypical for the interval of nearly 4 years since her death, especially given the environmental conditions and the findings in associated objects. Along with the evaluation by medical experts, additional tests were soon conducted on the soil in which the burial took place. After analysis, no unusual elements were found which would have impacted the condition of Sister Wilhelmina's body when it was exhumed. In conclusion, within the limits of what has been observed during this time, the body of Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster does not appear to have experienced the decomposition that would have normally been expected under such previous burial conditions. The Catholic Church does not consider incorruptibility to be an indication of sainthood. The condition of the remains of Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster has understandably generated widespread interest and raised important questions. I pray that Sister Wilhelmina's story continues to open hearts to love for our Lord and Our Lady. The patriarchs and leaders of churches in Jerusalem issue a new urgent call for a ceasefire and peace. They wrote, "As we rapidly approach the 12th month of the present devastating war, we, the patriarchs and heads of the churches in Jerusalem, feel compelled to once again express our grave concerns over its dire direction. For despite repeated calls for the de-escalation of violence from ourselves and the international community, the situation in our beloved Holy Land has only continued to deteriorate. Millions of refugees remain displaced, their homes inaccessible, destroyed, or beyond repair. Hundreds of innocents are weekly killed or severely wounded by indiscriminate attacks. Countless others continue to endure hunger, thirst, and infectious disease. Among these are those languishing in captivity on all sides, who additionally face the risk of ill treatment from their captors. Still others, far from the battlefields, have suffered unchecked attacks against their villages, pastures, and farmlands. Throughout this all, ceasefire negotiations have dragged on interminably, with the leaders of the warring parties seemingly more concerned with political considerations than bringing an end to the pursuit of death and destruction. These repeated delays, coupled with other provocative acts, have only served to heighten tensions to the point where we stand at the precipice of a full-blown regional war. In view of these alarming developments, we, the patriarchs and heads of the churches in Jerusalem, once again implore the leaders of the warring parties to heed our calls and those of the international community to reach a rapid agreement for a ceasefire, resulting in the end of the war, the release of all captives, the return of the displaced, the treatment of the sick and wounded, the relief of those who hunger and thirst, and the rebuilding of all public and private civilian structures that have been destroyed. Just as importantly, we call upon the leaders of these peoples, in concert with the international community, to take up without delay diplomatic discussions addressing long-standing grievances between them, leading to concrete steps that promote a just and lasting peace in our region through the adoption of an internationally legitimate two-state solution. While issuing these calls in the best interests of all who inhabit the region, we express our special concern for those Christian communities under our pastoral charge. These include those taking refuge in Gaza, at St. Porphyrios Orthodox Church and Holy Family Catholic Church, as well as the courageous staff of Al-Ali Anglican Hospital and the patients under their care. We pledge to them our continued prayers and support, both now and at the conclusion of the war, when we will labor together to rebuild and strengthen the Christian presence in Gaza, as well as throughout the Holy Land. Finally, we appeal to Christians and all those of goodwill around the world to promote a vision of life and peace throughout our war-torn region, recalling Christ's words, quoted above, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." During this time of extreme crisis, let us all recommit ourselves towards working and praying together in the hope that, by the grace of the Almighty, we might begin to realize this sacred vision of peace among all God's children. This was the message in the letter by the patriarchs and heads of the churches in Jerusalem.
Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to Catholic News World's channel. God bless.